Welcome, welcome. The nature of pure relationship with the self, the natural way this relationship evolves, is a growing sense of devotion. It's a love affair, really. It is a love affair with the unmanifest essence out of which manifest expression arises. And along with that, it is devotion to every expression in the manifest life, because it is all arising out of the one source, out of the one source. And the nature of this one source is love without condition. It is love without condition. Because in the recognition that everything is coming out of the one source, then everything is revealed to be innocence, to be wisdom at work. You know, if you look to find the thinker, who is the thinker of the thought? It is never possible to find some thinker or chooser because it is an appearance. In the revelation that choosing is an appearance, there is the recognition of the choiceless nature of everything. Good and bad fly out the window. Judgment flies out the window. Doesn't mean that the mind may not have judgments, but there is no judgment of the mind's judgments because it's all innocence. The chooser cannot be found. You can never find the thinker, the chooser. When you look, what you discover is where words cannot go because it is not an object. But that which is everywhere, infusing everything. And the flavor of that which is infusing everything is the flavor of the heart. It's the flavor of the heart. If you turn attention within and you simply feel the heart, it is possible to discover the feeling not of the organ, but the heart of God that lives within you. This feeling is not in a location because it's not an object, but the relationship to this is a growing sense of pure devotion. It's the nature of the relationship of self to self, devotion. And great joy can be taken in simply feeling the devotion, which is already the nature of the self, which is the truth of yourself. And as far as the play is concerned, there's no chooser, meaning there is no individual that is separate, meaning that the heart is connected with everything, everywhere, infinitely. And out of this infinite beauty arises this devotion, this pure love. You cannot explain it, you can feel it because it is felt as yourself. Anything that can be described is an object of perception. But the feeling of yourself is right here, always. Because what is right here is reality. What is right here is felt by the heart, which has no boundaries or borders. And this, this heart is pure love. It's pure love. And it exists as your own being right now. It exists as your own being right now in the timeless reality of the self. The timeless reality of the self can be tasted as yourself in the heart, which in fact is locationless. It sounds like a contradiction because you find it within, but yet when you feel it, you discover it's everywhere, in everything. The discovery is that the individual, the appearance of the individual, is nothing more than smoke and mirrors. There is the programming of the mind which is preconditioned, which responds automatically to recurrent circumstances, creating the felt experience of being somebody who chooses, someone separate. But as soon as you look to find the separate one, there is the recognition it is an appearance. There is never a separate one to be found. But what there is this beauty that is pure intelligence, that is pure innocence, that is felt in the heart, always right now, always right now, getting off of the imaginary train of the mind, which is all programmed around past and future, but past and future are only thoughts coming out of a program. The chooser of the program you cannot find. When you look for the chooser of the program, what is discovered is the self, but it's not an experience. Experiences change over time. The feeling of the self is timeless and changeless. And it's pure happiness. The eventual discovery is that there never was an individual, it was only an appearance. The eventual discovery is there never was linear time. It's only a story of the mind. It is so obvious that your existence can only be now. And the feeling of it is the feeling of the beauty. It's the feeling of the unity. It's the feeling of the self. Letting the play take care of itself. It is being guided by this wisdom. It is arising out of the one source, the source of the heart's devotion, devoted to the unmanifest absolute, and at the same time devoted to every manifest expression because there is nothing separate. There's nothing separate from the self. It's everything. It's everyone. It's every situation. It's every circumstance. It's every word that is heard. It's every sound, every texture, every word that is spoken, everything. When you are feeling the heart, you are living in a non localized place. You feel yourself infinitely. There's a snapping out of the trance of being a character that exists in linear time, and you feel the infinite nature of your existence, which is felt with the heart, and the feeling is pure devotion, and it's alive in you right now. It's always there. It does not have to be created. It's already there. It is just feeling what is already there. This devotion to totality of which you are inseparable from. So, what happens is the attention to details starts to fall away as the recognition starts to grow. The concern about things that arise in the life begin to fall away as there is a recognition that every thought is just generated by a program that is preconditioned that caused this amnesia, causing you to forget your nature. But it's so obvious your nature is right now. The feeling of it is the glory, it's the beauty. The body is always changing. Perception is always changing. The feeling of the heart is changeless because what is now is eternal. What is eternal does not change. It is felt as the most passionate beauty that is alive within you. It's alive within you here and now. It's already there. You begin to realize you already are wakeful consciousness. You never were a separate choosing individual. Everything that plays arises out of this wisdom. The wisdom is the one source. Your nature is pure devotion to the one source. And the more it is tasted, the more wakeful consciousness awakens to its true nature. It is love, feeling love, which causes love to grow. Devotion, feeling devotion, which causes devotion to grow. Happiness, feeling happiness, which causes the happiness to grow. And it doesn't grow in a particular point of reference, it is referenceless. It is felt everywhere. Just allowing the mind to relax. It's not a doing, it's a relaxation. Just letting the mind relax and feeling within the nature of the heart. And then this consciousness that you are begins to rediscover itself. And this brings forth much deeper sense of devotion. It's an infinite flow of devotion. And in the feeling of the devotion is the feeling of the self. And in the feeling of the self is the love that springs forth this happiness that awakens the self to itself. And it's already here. It's already here. It's nothing to do. The doer is imaginary. You look for the doer and you can never find anyone. It's an appearance, just like the past and the future are an appearance of the mind. Most people live in the experience of past and future, and they lose the taste of what is real, which is what is here now, which is the feeling of the infinite heart. And it grows and grows and grows. And the more you fall into it, the more refined the light of consciousness becomes, which can also be felt in the heart. And this light of consciousness is meeting itself at every point, everywhere, infinitely. And this is felt with the heart. The only thing that obstructs the taste is the habit of distraction based on perceptive experience of a character that the mind says is you. But if you look for that character now, it's always the same. It appears, it just appears, nothing more. The whole gestalt, the whole play is just an appearance. For what is now is always now. What is always now is unchanging. The feeling of the unchanging now is the feeling of the heart. The feeling of the heart is the feeling of unity, of love. It's the devotion to the unmanifest and its manifest expression, because it's all a continuation of one thing. This is not a doing, it's not an accomplishing. It's just letting go and feeling the nature of the heart. And this brings forth an igniting, an igniting of the true body, which is the light body, the subtle body, the soul, which branches infinitely as pure light and interconnects everything. And where you connect with me, where you connect with a tree, where you connect with another, when you are in true recognition, it's always connection with the self. And in this, the connection gives birth to something of finer vibration. Always only now. Always in this moment alone. Never a doing, never a changing, has nothing to do with past or future, has nothing to do with perception, has nothing to do with the appearance of a character that is only an appearance. It is for us to meet. It's for us to meet in truth. It's for us to meet in the moment. It's for us to meet in the heart. And it's so alive. The heart is so alive. Love is so alive. Where is love? Love is not in a particular place. It's a feeling of the heart that's infinite. The mind body cannot experience the infinite. It is the mirage that distracts the attention. But your nature is infinite. And when you are freed from being identified as the mind body, you get to directly taste the infinite nature of the heart, of pure devotion, which springs forth this vibrant joy, irrespective of what is playing in the play, as the attention to the details in the play continues to drop away, as the self recognition deepens. The mental involvement continues to drop away as the self recognition deepens. Noticing details begins to slip away as the self recognition deepens, because there is the realization that it is all choicelessly perfect, arising out of the wisdom. And it either plays the celebration of reunion or the replication of what has caused the forgetting, so that you can be conscious. You can be conscious of the mechanisms of the mind. Being conscious of the mechanisms of the mind frees identification, because you get to watch how it's all just mechanical. It's all programmed. And the litmus test is that as soon as the mind is bought, there is the experience of doing and choosing. The experience of doing and choosing is a self reminding offering that there has been amnesia, forgetting. As soon as it appears, it becomes a teaching that deconditions the habit of forgetfulness and reveals in more and more detail the intricate mechanism of this machinery known as the mind, all based on past conditioning. But in reality, there is no past. The past is just a story. You have never existed in a past. You cannot feel the love of devotion in a past. The past is a story. The love of pure devotion is alive right now. So the byproduct is that there is this pure devotion for each and every one of you. Not the individuals. The individuals are just appearance, but the heart to heart felt connection where we are felt as one, as joined, where the light of your being and the light of my being and the light of all beings create this symphony of unity and perfection in the unchanging eternal now, where the heart of devotion is vibrantly alive. It's vibrantly alive. It's right here. It's right here. There is no trying that is necessary. Trying is imaginary that is happening to an imaginary character. You do not need to try to exist. You exist. You already exist. Your existence is always now. The feeling of your existence is the impossible task of describing what cannot be described, but is more beautiful than anything that can be described. And we are all one in this. Possible to feel the oneness that we all are in this. Another way to describe the self is the silence. Silence is not the absence of sound, it's the feeling of being. It's not in a location, it's everywhere. It's not in time, it's always now. And as this relationship grows, what occurs is this devotion to the self grows, and the feeling of the devotion brings forth such vibrant aliveness and joy. The mind body can be going through great challenges, but this is all happening in the phenomenal arena, in the perceptive field of the mind, in the distractive mechanism that has caused the consciousness that you are to forget its nature. But the opportunity is to wake up to yourself. Right here. For the self is here. Wherever the body finds itself, the self is here. It's unmovingly here. It's felt within. But when you fall within, it is recognized to be everywhere. This is the great possibility. This is why we come together. This is why we share satsang. Just feel yourself. What could be more direct? What could be more immediate? What could be more alive, more vibrant,